I look forward in the future to working with you all. Those of you who are still here in study and training, it's my privilege, pleasure, and honor to serve you on faculty and staff. And those of you, when you go out into internship and into residency, please know that if you have questions or need any help, do not hesitate to call upon me. It won't be long when we will be colleagues, and I may be calling on you for consults. Again, congratulations, and thank you all for the privilege, pleasure, and honor of being asked to be here to present this keynote speech. It is at this moment that we will now take a break and have some visual demonstrations on thinking about, as a psychiatrist, the power of the mind and its importance in osteopathic healing. Because indeed, as osteopathic physicians, we know that we are trained and given skills and treatment options that many of our colleagues outside of osteopathy don't have. We are able to see not just with our eyes, we see with the tips of our fingers. We see with the sense of healing energy. So again, with that being the case, if you all will allow me, now we'll demonstrate the power of the mind that each and every one of you has. It is often said, never judge a book by its cover. I actually brought books with me. Those of you for whom I've had the honor of teaching and serving in the classroom, you may recognize many of these books. For those of you who are completing your first year, you'll probably see these again. You'll notice, and I talk about these in the course in psychiatry, Death Wish, my hero Charles Bronson, who starred in an entire series of movies, Death Wish. He was in so many of them. I think Death Wish 36 was Death Wish meets Rocky Beneath the Planet of the Apes. The ultimate flashback, we will talk about this when we talk about post-traumatic stress disorder in many months to come. You all are now studying the mystery of medicine. The Dream of the Accused, it is my privilege, pleasure, and honor to teach the course in medical jurisprudence. We will talk about issues of criminal law as well as civil law when we address that. Webster's Dictionary reminds us that we want to have good access to vocabulary when we're talking with our patients. I've got more books than I need. A Christmas Carol, that just happened to be in my briefcase. And Fatal Sins reminds us the single greatest fatal sin we want to avoid, and that's failure to obtain informed consent, no matter what procedure we are performing. If I may ask some of the inductees, if you will please feel comfortable in raising your hands so I know who our new inductees are, because I will ask your permission to become participant in this if I may. If I may, I will hand out some books. I don't want to embarrass anyone. If you're not comfortable doing so, you can just give me one of these. I think not. And may I hand you a book? Is that okay? Thank you. And if I may, I will come across, hands up again if I may. Perfect. May I hand you a dictionary? Is that okay? And may I hand you Dream of the Accused? And we won't hand out all of these books. However, and I'll ask you just to hold on to your books, may I hand you Ultimate Flashback and, oh heck, we'll hold off on these if it's okay, because what I will do is the following. We think about reimbursements in medicine, so we'll do something with some American currency, if that's okay. We'll use some $1 bills. And, we'll divide these up into 2 packets. Perfect. And if I may, may I hand you a stack of bills? I'll turn them face down and ask you just to mix them up face down. And we've got another stack of bills. And they ask you to take the bills, mix them up face down. And then I'm going to ask each of you, if you will, to remove 1 bill. Just 1 bill from your packet. I'll take the other bills back. Thank you. And I'll take your bills back. I'll come around. And I'll have you all just hold on to the dollar bill if you will. May I borrow your book for a moment? Thank you. I'm going to ask you to say stop at any time. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. You say that again?
Stop.
Very good. I'm going to have you please, you may rise up, it's okay. I'm going to have you look at the first word on the top of that page. I don't want to see it, but you've got it. And then you selected 2 pages at random, correct? So I'll ask you please to look at those 2 pages at random. Got the page numbers? Very good, because I'm going to step away and have you look to those 2 page numbers in your dictionary. Very good. And then you're holding a book, is that correct? I'm going to ask you please, if you will, just to see how many printed numbered pages there are in the book. And you need not be psychic, you may turn to the last page and tell us what number it is.
280?
280 pages. I'm going to ask you all to allow me the poetic license to say 300 pages. It makes the math easier. In a standard galley proof of a hardback book published in the United States, there are approximately 200 to 400 words per page. 300 pages is 120,000 words. Now I'm going to ask you in a moment, and I will step away so I cannot see, I'm going to ask you please to turn anywhere in the book you want into the body of the text and scan down the page. And as long as you're comfortable with that page, I'm going to ask you to silently select a word now. I'm going to ask you for today's purposes to select the biggest word, the longest word, the most letters, the most syllables, because that will make this the most impressive. If you find yourself conflicted between 2 words, you may select both. And once you've found them, I just want you to say, I'm ready. And what I will have you do is also point to the word or words to your colleagues next to you so they're aware as well. Okay? Now I'll step away, and our colleague with the dictionary, you've turned to those 2 pages. You may put your finger there and close the book to bookmark it, because when I turn around, I don't want to see the pages. And please let me know when you've selected your word or words out of the and you may change your mind, you may turn to a different page. It's okay.
Got it.
All right, very good. And I'll just have you close the book, and I'll just recapture the book from you. We have another book, don't we? Would you please tell us how many pages are in your book? 199. So if I may ask, from our table, yes, what page would you like from 1 to 199? 72. If you'd please turn to page 72 in the book. I'm telling you, there were many thinking the same page. If you'll turn to page 72, and please look at the first sentence at the top of the page, and then silently select the biggest word you can find on that line. And once you have it, you may show it to those next to you. I don't want to see it. So on that first line, just select the longest word, the biggest word, the most letters, the most syllables. First line at the top of page 72. Y'all will see whatever, randomly selected. And then I'll have you close the book. Oh, I'll wait, and I'll just collect the books. But I'll have you all hold on to the dollars. I will collect those when we're done. Thank you. Thank you. Very good, thank you. We have a lot of words and numbers floating around. Now, I'm going to ask, fatal sins. You selected a page at random, and out of 120,000 pages, you selected 1 word or 2. Please, you may share 1 or 2.
Video.
Oh, I don't want you to tell me. Oh, okay. Was there another word that you selected?
I can think of one.
Did you see? If you want to look, I don't want you to tell me your word. I just want to know if you selected 1 or 2. Yeah, not to worry, and please do not be embarrassed. Turn to any page, look for the biggest, longest word you can find, select it, show it to your colleagues, and then close the book. Got it?
Got it.
Very good. Now, did you select 1 or 2 words?
One word.
One word. And I don't want you to tell us your word. I will ask for you just to share out loud only the first letter of your word. And the first letter was?
H.
H, the letter H, in and of itself, doesn't tell us a whole lot. In many ways, it is emblematic of what happens when we are practicing medicine. You see, when a patient comes in, the first time we see the patient, we get a small piece of information that either goes into the handwritten chart or the electronic medical record. And that piece of information, the first time we see them, may emblematic be the H. And the next time they come in, we get another piece of information, and maybe it's an A. And the next time, maybe an N. And then maybe a D. And maybe a K. And you see, out of 120,000 words, the unconscious mind goes to a word that has meaning because you're recognizing that patients may come to us distraught and filled with sadness, and our goal is to bring them freedom from pain and relief. And the word you selected was Handkerchief, handkerchief, is that correct? And when we leafed through the one book, you selected a word at random, am I right? And stopped on 2 pages at random, is that correct? And the word that you selected, and please be excited if I'm close. The word reminds us that when patients come to us, they want help. They need help. And they may come to us and they may even be P-L-E-A-D-I-N-G, pleading, is that right? Thank you. Thank you. And you selected 2 pages at random. I have no idea what they are. I did not look, and I showed them. You have them selected in the dictionary. In the dictionary, there should be 2 columns of defined words on each page. Is that correct? So we have 4 columns. 4 columns of defined words, and I'm going to ask, in the back, the gentleman right now who's being bathed in sunlight, radiating this wonderful energy. Would you like column 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which column would you like? 1. Okay. I'm going to have you please turn to column 1. I'm going to ask you please to look at the top of the column and to look at the first bold print defined word at the top of the column. And look at that word, focus on it, because that word has meaning. And that word reminds us that within each of us is a healing skill. Within each of us is the knowledge that we develop as osteopathic physicians. Those of you being inducted today into Sigma Sigma Phi, recognize and realize the importance of the study as well as the importance of the application of that healing in our community. Within us is the dwelling, D-W-E-L-L-I-N-G, is that right? Of osteopathic healing and thought. $2 bills. 2 people selected dollar bills at random. What makes a dollar bill unique is the serial number. The serial number is indeed akin to a fingerprint on a human. No 2 fingerprints are alike. No 2 serial numbers are alike. Each of you selected at random dollar bills from a stack of over 10 each, so selected them totally at random. I'm going to ask you both to concentrate on your bills. And as you do, you will notice that the dollar bills start with a letter and end with a letter. Is that correct? One of you right now is focusing on the letter A. Is that right? Yes. And one of you is focusing on the letter D. Yes. And if I may, I will start with the letter A and the numbers. The numbers that you all are looking at are A, 0, 6, 0, 8, 1, 9, 4, 9, G. Is that right? And if I may, you are looking at and focusing on D. 083119 5 1G. Is that right? Thank you all very much. It was a pleasure to be here.